Now, should I start over or no? Good, we're good? All right. Roll call. Liz, can you see your interpreter?
I can see the interpreter, but I'd like for them to be bigger.
Okay,
I think I need to pin them.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Yeah, no, I got it.
You
No,
got
I,
it? Excellent, excellent. All right. And Nicole, yes? Yeah, okay.
I'm here.
You hear Jackie?
I'm here.
Okay, just checking. Councilors Russell, yep, yep. And
Hello
Councilor,
from City Hall.
excellent. Councilor Gamma, I see you as well. And I don't,
Mr. Chair.
excellent. Asia and Leslie, we haven't seen them for a while, so I would imagine they're not here. Excellent. And Rochelle, we have regrets from. Okay, so we're all ready to go. Okay, I assume and I hope that you all received the minutes from our August 16th meeting. Have you received them all? I believe so. So are there any changes you want to make to those minutes? Hearing none, I will call for a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. I need a seconder, please. Thank you, Jackie. Okay, all those in favor? Say aye or,
Aye.
okay, motion carried. We can continue. Have you seen the order of approval of the order of business there? Yeah, great. Is there anything you would like to add or delete from this order of business? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the order of business?
many.
Am I going too fast?
So moved, Councilor Russell.
Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not going too fast for Liz.
Yep, no, you're great.
Okay, so we have a move by Councilor Russell. I need a seconder.
Second.
All right, thank you, councilors. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we'll carry that. So there is no business arising. Do we have any conflicts of interest? Okay, seeing none. Consideration of deferred business, we have none. Button. We have correspondence. Do we have any correspondence, Clerk?
Thank you, Chair. There was no correspondence or petitions received by the clerk's office.
Excellent, okay. And we have no presentation, is that correct?
Not from the public, no. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. No items brought forward, so we move on to staff report for the annual town hall. Is that delivered by me or you, Clerk, Madam Clerk?
Hello, that would be me, Chair, as long as you're ready to go here. So thank you, everyone. So the memo was circulated on Thursday, of last week for the committee's consideration. Largely just some updates in terms of what myself and the accessibility advisor, as well as other staffs at corporate communications, the library, other folks within the clerk's office have been working on to get things ready for the upcoming town hall. So myself and the accessibility advisor have been moving forward with the request from the committee to have our hybrid event. So the physical location will be taking place in Apollo Regan Hall in the Halifax Central Library, with viewing locations at the Tantallon and Musquodoboit Harbor libraries. And then we've worked with the library staff, and we'll continue to work with them moving forward to ensure that the other library locations are equipped to support folks who would like to attend or watch the event virtually from the other libraries. So we did our first site visit to the to Apollo Regan Hall, and we're able to kind of speak with staff at the library around, you know, how we could set up this space to ensure that it is accessible, how many folks we can fit within it within the current phase that we're in under the health restrictions, and then kind of, you know, moving forward, seeing what that could look like if capacity rises. We are certainly continuing to plan on the cautious side, and we will continue to plan within the current guidelines that exist. We don't, you know, this is kind of an ongoing piece, so we don't want to you know, plan for less restrictions and then they're ending up you know, in the same situation that we're in right now. So we're approaching with caution, absolutely. But we were able to understand a little bit more about the space on its own, the tech capacity of the hall as well, so that we, you know, could include some of the information in our efforts to start getting some conversations going with live streaming services. And we've confirmed that there will absolutely be enough space for ASL interpretation to be physically present in the same room, and there will be screens that CART captioning can be running on for the live event. So things are looking really great there, and I've been having a really great time working with the library and with Melissa on getting all of the that figured out. Then onto the communications piece, we've been working both with HRM corporate communications as well as library staff to think about how we're going to communicate this event, not only within the municipality in terms of staff at the HRM, but to communities within, you know, the grander HRM. And we have some corporate, you know, communications drafts for folks to consider after this agenda item, and looking forward to hearing your feedback on that for sure. But we have been working with a communications plan from corporate communications around advertising options for digital and print, looking at using the HRM social media platforms, creating a page for the event on the HRM website, establishing timelines, and, you know, making sure that we're reaching out to other business units to get all of the comms materials moving along. We're going to be looking for a bit of explicit direction from the committee on this agenda item in particular. Previously, we had stated that the event had taken place in other years from 7 to 9, but in looking through past materials from the event, we realized that it occurred a bit earlier on in the day for the most part. So generally, it's still a 2-hour period of time, but we were looking at other options that were listed from 6 to 8 and 6:30 to 8:30 rather than 7 to 9. So we would definitely appreciate some guidance on the preference of time for the event, so that we can finalize the communications materials, and that will enable us to start listing out to start reaching out to the other business units to see who is actually going to be able to come and be be a part of the panel. So yeah, things are moving along. Between now and the next committee meeting, we're going to, launch the rest of the things that need to be put in place for October. We're going
Hi
to.
there. Oh, sorry. I just
Yeah.
have a question
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just Karina, I can still see you. So if you could just mute your screen, that would be great. Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to find the other interpreter. Okay, there he is. Okay, I'm good to go. Sorry, I was just watching Karina's screen and I didn't realize that Justin, the other interpreter, was on screen. So, but now I know. Thank you.
No worries, no problem at all. Just want to make sure that everybody's good. So good. Thank you very much. Wonderful. So yeah, I guess really that's the end of my update here. I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. And yeah, looking forward to getting that direction on time so that we can start reaching out to business units.
Thank you, Annie. Let's start the question round. Nicole, do you have anything to add to or ask of our clerk?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay, great. Jackie, do you have any questions?
Yes,
Floor is
Mr.
yours.
Chair. Yes, thank you. Just a couple of things. I'm wondering, first of all, let me go back. If people see me looking down, it's because I have another device with the minutes and things on, so I am paying attention. Just around advertising, in terms of advertising the event, where have we gone on that, Annie?
Thank you for the question through you, Chair, to the member. So we are looking at the way that we're going to kind of do that through HRM and library channels in particular. So we have a lot of options to follow through for digital. So both the library and the municipality at large have digital signage options. The HRM has agreed to use their their kind of social media platforms. There also is going to be a page on the website for the municipality regarding the event that once we have the information that we need to set up registration, there will be all of that information will be there. And then in terms of print, the option that we were speaking about with the library and corporate communications was a home delivery service that the library uses. So it kind of works in 3-week rotations throughout the month where the library kind of delivers I'm not entirely certain what is all within the package, but books or, materials around community events. And, this would be a really great option to make sure that the event is getting to folks who may not, be on the standard social media channels. So we have that drafted as the postcard for the committee's review after this agenda item. But those are kind of the options that we're working with right now.
A thought through you, Mr. Chair, that I would have on that is, I think Eastlink does community announcements. So it may be another venue that some advertising could be done. Just a thought. Second point, please, and that will be it. Looking at, and I think we discussed the whole area of sighted guides. So has there been anything, I guess, that's kind of transpired on that? Because if we're looking at a couple of sites, we'd probably be relying on a few people for those sites. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to the committee member. No, so the cited guides is not something that I have started delving into yet, but I know this was a conversation that the Vice Chair and I had revisited offline not that long ago. So certainly something that we will be looking into. It became top of mind, within the past few days here. So I will certainly return back to the committee at the next meeting with some more specific information on that.
Okay, Jackie, are you satisfied with that? Hearing
Yes,
nothing?
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Counselor Russell, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. My question is around the COVID restrictions that are in place and planning for the current set of COVID restrictions. By the time we have the town hall, it might be in phase 5. We should have been in phase 5 right now, according to one of the original schedules. So what I'm wondering is if you would be planning for both phase 4 and for phase 5 and just it being relaxed or allowing for the phase 5 restrictions instead of strictly planning for phase 4 restrictions. Otherwise, everything sounds great. Thank you very much for the amount of work that has been put into it.
Thank you, and Chair, through you to the committee member. The restrictions are not necessarily they're not a hindrance to the planning that we are undergoing right now. Really, the biggest piece around that is just the actual space itself within Paul O'Regan Hall. So where we're going to be, putting out messaging around this being a hybrid event, both virtually and in person. The current restrictions through the library are that it can be 50 people within that space. So I'm sure we will work with both the library and with corporate communications to make sure that is communicated from our respective channels in terms of what the event can currently hold capacity wise in that space. But then also we can, if that changes between now and November, and hopefully knock on wood, that is the reality that we're in at that time, then we can work with the library to make sure that space is accommodating more than 50 people.
Excellent.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Counselor Gammon, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, and thank you, Annie and the team there for all of the really good planning. I guess my only comment is on the options for the time, and that is if we have checked with Accessibus about what their scheduling is, and so is 6 o'clock maybe, too early, is 9 o'clock too late, just to work where they're going to be sort of central to getting people to the library if they choose to. So I guess I would do a little bit checking with Accessibus on that. I think 6 might be a little bit early considering if they're getting people home from work and what their schedules might be. So that was just a thought around that. And I know that we're talking about agenda build out maybe at the next meeting, but at Regional Council, we did get a presentation about the Cogswell development and their desire around Rick Hansen gold certification on that development. And I think that would be a wonderful business unit for us to hear at the annual town hall. That's it.
Okay, Annie, do you have anything on that?
Yes, thank you, Chair, through you to the counselor. I don't have that information regarding the kind of timelines that would be preferable to Accessibus at this point in time. I'm not sure if there's a member from TPW who might be able to speak to that right now. If they are, would welcome that. But absolutely take your point there, counselor, around the timing of 6 p.m. maybe being a bit too early for folks.
TDW?
Sorry, Transportation and Public Works. Sorry, we're alphabet soup.
Yeah, and it could actually be just Halifax Transit because Accessibus is provided through them.
Okay, Liz, do you have any questions regarding Annie's works here?
Really, for me, I just want to make sure that interpreters are present for the town hall. So you would need 2 for the Zoom for the live session and possibly 2 for in-house. That's what I'm thinking, just because whoever's at the library and then whoever's on Zoom, however that may work. So you may need 6 interpreters altogether. and plus cart as well. Because I'm just thinking that if you have deaf folks that go to the library, we should have at least 2 interpreters on site there, plus the other 2 would be on Zoom, and then you would have your teamers. So you'd have to have different interpreters in different places. And we would also need to make sure that cart is available on Zoom and in person.
Any response, Annie?
Thank you, Chair. So in the past, when the interpretation has been used, I believe that for previous events kind of this scale, there has certainly been at least 2 interpreters present. But I see Tracy Jones-Grant's hands up, and who has certainly been around for a lot of these events. So maybe I will defer to her, Mr. Chair.
Certainly.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to see you. With respect to the interpretation, I'm just wondering if it's live streamed, Liz, would the interpreters be captured there? Because I think when people sign into the Zoom link for the live stream, they get everything. So they would see whatever's happening in the main room. So I'm just wondering, you wouldn't need interpreters for the live stream and the Zoom. So that group would just be all together. And then the possibility of needing in the other locations, yes.
Okay, so possibly in the, like, I'm wondering if a deaf person wants to go to another library, do you, like,
yeah, I think we would need, so if somebody went to Tantallon, for example, yes, we would need interpreters there. So that if they want to ask questions or engage, they would need interpreters. But if somebody's online, the online interpreters would be the interpreters that they would use.
so to clarify, just the interpreters in the interpreters, there'll be 2 there in Tantallon.
There could
And
be, yes.
then the interpreters, okay, I think if they're on Zoom, it's just if you are sort of zooming in the interpreters, if we're using Zoom, I guess we just want to make sure that the backdrop for the interpreters is a solid color, it's clear, and that they're visually accessible.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I think working with Melissa and Annie, we'd work out the logistics. We want to make sure it's going to work. So I'll have some further conversations with Annie and Melissa, just to make sure we have interpreters where we need them and we have the proper backgrounds and those things.
Mr. Chair, I might be able to speak to this.
So, and Liz is also saying, I would like to be involved in those discussions to make sure that it is all working together.
I will leave that in Annie's hands.
Annie, you had.
Okay.
Yes, so thank you both to Tracy and through the chair to the committee member. The conversation that we had during the site visit to Paula Regan Hall, we were able to see that the way that the event worked similarly to the International Women's Day event, where the event was happening in the same space as the interpreters were also present. So the interpreters in that instance for that event were able to stand by a white wall. So, a plain background for folks to be able to engage from, and that would be live streamed to the YouTube video or Zoom or however that is working. My understanding and this is certainly like something that we'll like to figure out the logistics for the viewing party locations, or for the viewing locations at Tantallon and Musquodoboit Harbor. I believe that the initial intent was for the screens to be live streaming the same event that folks would have access to on YouTube. So interpretation would also be viewed for the live streaming event as well. So so there would be interpretation on the screen at those, like for the viewing locations, but well, yeah, absolutely discuss how to getting interpretation present at the viewing locations as well, or we'll have that conversation, because I think this is the first time that the committee.
And we can discuss that later as well if you want.
Absolutely. Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, that is the end of that question round. Annie, you have community material to present? Communication, sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, would you mind repeating that? I had a dog barking in the background.
You have communications material for us to see?
Yes, I do as well. I'm just wondering, Mr. Chair, if you wouldn't mind. So I had one comment noted around preference around time, in that 6 to 8 is probably too early. I would be interested in seeing if any other committee members had a preference around time, so that
I would say 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 to me is a great time. Just because, I think 7 might be veering into maybe things are getting too late, especially when finishing. But I would say, around, or maybe 6:45 even, if we have to meet somewhere in the middle.
Mr. Chair, I sometimes find that Liz is right. By the time we actually get started, if we say 6:30, we might not get to start until 6:45 by the time you got all of the technology figured out.
Good point, good point. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would agree that 6:30 would probably be appropriate when I think of rural areas. Usually the workday ends somewhere between 3:30 and 5 for folks. So that would give folks time to get home if they wanted to go home first, and then to go back to the respective libraries.
Good.
All right. Thank you, members of the committee. And Mr. Chair, I just wanted to update that I have some clarification from transit. And basically, the long and short of it is that Accessibus will work with the committee on the time that is decided. So the committee will have that support there.
Excellent. Good to know. Thank you. Are we now under the communication material?
Absolutely. So I think the preference that I'm hearing, and I just want to make sure that I'm repeating it back so that if folks feel differently, they have the opportunity to say, but I'm hearing 6:30 start time, and certainly we're working with corporate comms to make sure that there is, like a holding screen on the event as well. So if the event starts a bit later, there's a bit of a delay, folks will, know that they're in the right place virtually before it starts.
Great.
So, okay, thank you very much for that direction. All right, so Mr. Chair, it's all right if I start speaking to the communications materials?
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. So we have been, as I mentioned earlier, we've been working with corporate communications to get some draft materials for the committee to review. So those were sent around to the committee a few hours ago. So really what I kind of wanted to share was just, direction that corporate communications is going in right now with the way that the the kind of look and feel of the materials. And this is certainly an opportunity for committee members to provide feedback, in terms of how things are looking so far. I mentioned this in our agenda distribution email, but just wanted to reiterate that, some of the specifics of the event, the time and the specific YouTube link will all be, included in those materials after the fact. But I I may not be able to answer every question regarding the materials today, but if I don't have the answer, I will reach out to corporate communications and get that answer back to the committee.
Great, thank you. Jackie, you lead off. Do you have any questions or observations?
No, Mr. Chair, and I think Annie has answered my other question regarding advertising platforms, which was covered here slightly. So thank you.
Excellent. Councillor Russell, do you have anything to add to the discussion?
I'm good, thank you. Everything has been addressed.
Okay, Councillor Gammon, do you have any questions? Councillor Gammon.
Sorry about that. I had a hard time coming off of mute. No, I have actually no questions about it. Thanks.
Okay, Elizabeth, do you have any questions?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay,
It's just really important that it's simple and clear. We don't want it to be too fancy or have too much wording on it. Pleasing to the eyes and easy to read for information purposes.
that's indeed, yes.
Nice and clear point form.
Yes, I had a look at it and everything I could see looked fine, so that's certainly been taken care of. Nicole, do you have anything to add to our discussion?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, great. So now we move on to staff update. Do we
Mr.
have
Chair.
an update? Yes,
Sorry, I just wanted to note that Asia has joined us, and I
Okay.
see their name on the attendee side. So Asia, I'm going to there. You
Right,
should be able
yes.
to unmute now.
okay. So.
Hi,
Asia,
thanks there, Sherry. It's Aja, and sorry I joined in a couple of times and I got kicked out and I'm back again. So thanks for unmuting me.
Did you hear the comments that Annie made about the communication material, Aja?
Yes, I'm good to go. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. I'm just trying to find everyone. Okay, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. So now we move on to the staff update. Do we have any staff update, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Chair. So I believe Melissa's having some tech issues today, but I don't think that there was anything specific as a staff update. But moving forward, this will be an agenda item that I will be actively reaching out to staff on to see if there are particular things that they're working on within their business units that either could be provided as an update to the committee or would like active feedback on. It's like as certain plans develop. This has been an agenda item that has been standing on our previous agendas, but maybe hasn't necessarily been utilized over the course since I joined as the legislative assistant. So if folks don't have anything that they would like to share today, just a kind of a heads up that I'll be actively reaching out to you on this piece in the future.
Excellent, thank you for that. Okay, committee members, do we have anything? We are at 9.2. I see none. Added items. We did not add any items, if I'm correct. So that leaves the date of the next meeting, which is October 18th, 2021. So,
Sorry, I was just curious, can we add any of the drafted information? I don't know if you have hard copies that you could show on here, or if you have something digitally on that you're able to share them so we could all see them here. Is that doable, Annie?
Mr. Chair, through you to the committee member. Yeah, absolutely. So these, draft items were circulated as a part of the agenda earlier
Yeah,
today.
sorry. I didn't want to open my email when I have Zoom running because I didn't want to accidentally turn off the meeting by mistake. So I'd rather see them shared screen if that's possible.
Absolutely. Mr. Chair, if you're comfortable with that, we can absolutely put them on kind of one by one so that the
And
committee.
it's fine if not.
yeah, go right ahead from a chair position.
All right. Wonderful. So I will just, so we'll do each image kind of one by one, and I'll just speak to the kind of image and what that will be used for. So I'll just ask my colleague Haruka, and she is on it. So this piece here is it's just kind of a header that will be used for the for the HRM website. So we have the kind of accessible white on like a dark background for font. And then we have these icons that are being used throughout the materials that are similar to icons that are being used both at the federal level as well as the provincial level around accessibility. So these are the icons that will kind of you'll be running throughout each of the materials. And it was noted as well by corporate communications that purple is often the color that is used for accessibility like features with not only within the municipality but also at the provincial level through the Accessibility Directorate. So maybe we can move on to the Instagram, the images, Haruka. Perfect. So this image is the kind of like standard format that is being proposed to use.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, this is Elizabeth. So I'm just curious what it looks like a chat box with the 3 dots in it. I'm curious, what is that representing? Is it nonverbal, or it looks like a little chat bubble and then it has the 3 dots in it? I'm wondering what that is.
Thank you for the question. I'm just bringing up an email here. I'm not, I just have the descriptor from communications just saying that, the kind of word bubble is it's used on a lot of other materials for accessibility purposes. So not entirely certain the specific definition, but I can certainly reach out to corporate comms and get that information back.
If it's probably like to type in like a chat, maybe. I'm just guessing, I'm not sure. But this is Nicole, that's my guess. I'm not really sure.
And I'm also the ear with the cross through it. I prefer that not be used, to have the ear and then the line through it. It would be the same for blind people. If you put an eye on there and you just put a cross through it, that wouldn't really be acceptable. It's the same with the ear, to have sort of the slash mark through it. Our ears aren't broken. It's not really how we like to be labeled as a community. Just to add that.
Absolutely. So thank you through you, Chair, to the committee member. Point absolutely taken here, and I will take that back to corporate communications and ask that image be altered.
the image that I usually see for that is like, so the dots going through the ear and then like the waves out. That's the image that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, that's I was just wondering what would be the correct image, just as like curiosity.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe we could just hold off on that and I can check in with some other members of the community and see what the preferred symbol is, if that's okay with everyone.
Sounds good.
I just know that as a general rule, it's offensive just to be focusing on the ear. Same as I was referring to before, the blind individual, you don't focus on the eye. So I'll check into that and I'll get back to everybody.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
And it is hard to please everyone.
And just perhaps for context, I believe that image is an image that is used in federal accessibility related pieces. So I don't necessarily think that is something that HRM came up with on their own, but I will absolutely note that and take that back. But we'll reach out to you after this meeting, Elizabeth, to follow up and chat about what the preferred image will look like there for these materials.
Fantastic. Thank you. And that's you speaking, correct, Annie? That's you speaking now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that addition. It clarifies a few things. So, as I said, the date of our next meeting is October 18th, 2001. Do I have a mover for adjournment?
I would move to adjourn the meeting, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Cassie, or Jackie, sorry. We are adjourned at 4:47 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, everyone.
See you on the 18th.
Take care,